Hello everyone, and welcome to the first ever TV Talks. I'm your host, Sastaf, and tonight we're going to be talking about a show that was 50 years in the making. That's right, it was Super Bowl number 50. Unfortunately, we couldn't celebrate a Super Bowl with the Green Bay Packers this year, but there's always next year. I'm going to talk about not only the game, but I'm also going to talk about the halftime show, I'm going to talk about the commercials, and most importantly, I'm going to talk about the movie trailers that came from this Super Bowl. So, let's get started. First off, I need to give a round of applause to Lady Gaga and her performance of the national anthem. Man, that was some moving stuff, let me tell you people. It's nice to see the national anthem done with such heart. It wasn't like that one year when the singer couldn't even remember the right words to the national anthem. So I give props to Lady Gaga. She was even bringing tears to her own eyes. She was doing so good with that. Now let's talk about the game. I enjoyed the game. It was a good game to watch. There were a lot of penalties. Carolina Panthers, they were playing really sloppy tonight. I don't know what was going on with that, but I'm glad that the Denver Broncos won. I think that they deserve the win. And if Peyton Manning chooses this to be his last game, I mean, I don't see why he wouldn't. It would be kind of dumb not to go out winning Super Bowl number 50. But if he does, it's a good way, it's a good send-off to him. So, yes, I enjoyed the game. I thought it was good. There were, like I said, it was sloppy, but nonetheless, I enjoyed watching it. It was worth watching. It was a game that I was going to be working on other stuff while it was on. I was going to do other things. But I had my butt planted right in the couch, watching the TV, watching for those movie trailers, but not only that, just watching and enjoying the game itself. Now, let's talk about the halftime show. A lot of people were a little disappointed because it was Coldplay, and they were like, what was the point of them even being there when we got Beyonce and we got Bruno Mars? And while I kind of agree with that last statement, it's also refreshing to see a band go out there and just perform, you know? I mean, a lot of the times the halftime show is not so much about the music, but it's more or less about the show. I mean, we gotta have our left shark here, we gotta be riding out on giant things, and we just gotta make the biggest show that we can possibly make. And it's nice to see that there was a band that was more concerned about the music than about just the showmanship of it. I really respect the fact that they had what looked like high school bands performing their music with them. They had the kids up on stage with the violins during the first song. They had the marching bands come out during the second song. They had a drum line play for the beginning of Beyonce's song. I really appreciated the fact that they were using what looked like high school bands as part of their performance. I really respect that from them. And now let's go into Bruno Mars and Beyonce. Bruno Mars doing Uptown Funk. Nothing new there. I mean, I feel like that song came out a year ago already. It probably did. And Beyonce's, I'm probably going to get a lot of hate for saying this, but her song was kind of weird. It wasn't, I think that was maybe the worst Beyonce song I've ever heard. I like it better when she sings about good stuff and stuff that I can understand instead of trying to rap and be a Nicki Minaj. I don't know. She lost me in that song. But I will say, after she was done with that, and when she had the dance off with Bruno Mars and they were doing their dancing thing, like, that got me back into it. I was like, alright, like, I guess you kind of earned your way back into this halftime show for what it was. And the whole message at the end of it being love and Coldplay playing that song, I found that pretty moving. I mean, you take a look at the world today, and there needs to be more advocate for love than hate. And I thought that was a good way to go out. I liked that they tributed Michael Jackson and Bruce Springsteen, as well as many of the other past halftime shows. And so, yeah, it wasn't the worst halftime show that I've ever seen. I would definitely rank it above some of the ones from the past 5 years. I would rank it above some of those. No Left Shark, I mean, everybody was waiting for it, but it is what it is. I mean, that was last year's thing. It's time to try something different. Commercials. A lot of people make a big deal about there not being that many funny commercials anymore, and I think that was kind of a fad that's starting to die off more and more. It's kind of sad, but there are a few memorable commercials that we can bring up. There were a couple of weird commercials too. Let's talk about those first. The Puppy Monkey Baby commercial with Mountain Dew, like I don't even know what the fuck was that? Like seriously. I have no idea what that was. And the Doritos commercial with the wife and the husband, they're at the doctor and she's getting a sonogram and she's looking at the baby and she's like, "You're eating Doritos?" And then she throws the Doritos and out comes the baby because it's gonna chase the Doritos. I was like, whoa, what am I watching right now? Yeah, those were weird. One of the funnier ones that I really enjoyed was the Honda commercial with the sheep singing "Somebody to Love" from Queen. I mean, I love that song, and just having the random sheep sing it and advertising the speakers in the bed of the pickup truck, like that was funny. That one I really enjoyed. But the best one I would have to say would be the Hulk and Ant-Man Coke commercial. So Ant-Man is taking Bruce Banner's last mini Coke can, and so Bruce Banner like hulks out and he's chasing him down the street, and finally he gets it, and he gets mad because he can't open the little tab on the mini can, and so Ant-Man comes in and opens it up and takes like a one gulp, which is like a microscopic like drop of Coke, but it's enough for him because he's a little mini ant sized. And that was my favorite commercial out of them. But there's one more that's worth talking about, and that can kind of transition into our trailer talk, is the Batman and Superman Turkish Airline commercials. Now they had two of them. They had one for Gotham City and they had one for Metropolis, and it was talking about how Turkish Airlines is like one of the airlines that travels to the most places in the world, and they were advertising traveling to Gotham City and Metropolis, and to kind of narrate them, kind of like the California commercials back in the day when Arnold would be like, "Come to California, it's a great place to be." Well, I have a better Arnold impression, but that's as good as I'm gonna get for right now. But it was kind of reminiscent of those. I mean, they had Ben Affleck talking as Bruce Wayne for the Gotham commercials, and they also had Lex Luthor talking about the Metropolis commercial. And the interesting thing that I took out of this, I mean, it could be speculation, it could be not, but I feel like Lex Luthor and LexCorp help rebuild Metropolis in between Man of Steel and Batman v Superman. It was a line that Jesse Eisenberg's Lex Luthor said in the movie. Lex Luthor donated billions of dollars and now Metropolis is now open, or something like that. It was along those lines, but I feel like that's something important to keep in mind when going into the movie. Maybe that's the reason why so many people would support Lex Luthor in the Batman v Superman movie, even though comic book fans know that he is Superman's greatest villain of all time. So I feel like that's something important to take from those commercials, going into that movie being like, oh, that's something interesting to talk about.